Hi, it's Lori Sortino. Welcome. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about past safaris and retreats at Return to Freedom and a little bit about what's up for 2020, 2026. That was easy to say, right? Anyway, this is me. This is what you get. Okay, I'm going to share my screen because I want to talk a little bit about the 2025 retreat and safari in San Luis Obispo and Lompoc and talk a little bit about what's up for 2026. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully you can see, this is my Lightroom catalog now. So um, in San Luis Obispo, yes, there are cows and there are horses, and we have overcast sometimes. This is the marine layer because we're right by the ocean in San Luis Obispo. So we get the marine layer. See, I told you this is what you get with me. The marine layer in the morning and sometimes the evenings. Usually it's thicker in the morning. So here's some of our interactions with the horses. Now, I can't promise you the horses will approach us. We do not approach the horses. Um, we always let them choose if they want to approach us, and sometimes they do. So here's a few images of the horses approaching us. And we also go through, what the protocol is for interactions with the horses. But here are just a few of the photos that I got. So here's it's fun to see how the horses interact, how they behave with each other. Um, a lot of it is just observing the horses in their natural herd behavior. How do they interact? How do they communicate? And we get to observe that, talk about that. It's fascinating. We capture their expressions. It's just so fun to see their personalities and how they interact with us, how they interact with each other, who shows up. We talk about, you know, the interactions. We talk about energy. We talk about how the horses express their energy, how their energy sometimes differs from ours because of um, just their way of seeing the world compared to our thinking mind and how we make stuff up in our heads. So, this is some of what we do at this retreat because you get me. And I'm into all of these things. I'm into energy and thinking about how not to think, which the horses really help us with. So here's some images where you can really see the gray skies. Hey, this is sometimes what we get in San Luis Obispo. So I used this image for our header this year and turned it black and white. And um, anyway, let me skip ahead a bit. Let me go. Yeah, sometimes they're running across the hill in the grass. Oh, this was at the water hole. We were waiting, we were waiting for the horses and the cows came. And here's the horses peeking over the hill. It's like, oh, is it safe for us to go to the water hole? Um, and here's a group of the horses. Again, same thing. They were watching us and waiting until they felt that it was safe. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. The cows are totally comfortable with us. They came to the water hole. We'll talk about regenerative grazing in San Luis Obispo and why there are horses and burros and cows, um, and how that helps with the regenerative grazing. So you get to learn about all of that as well. Let me anyway, this is, lots of pictures, lots of things going on, you know, Sometimes they're standing around, sometimes they're running. So we just get to observe and photograph when all of that happens. So let me jump to Lompoc just a little bit. What we experience in Lompoc is a little bit different. The horses are more in pastures. They're now not out on the hills like in San Luis Obispo. So they're in pastures in small groups. So we get to see them, photograph them, get to see a little bit of the scenery here as I scroll through. These are a couple of the bachelor stallions here. Here's Spirit. Um, we will get to photograph Spirit. And here's some of the some of the hills are steep. There's some shrubs like this. So sometimes they're running in and out in between the shrubs. Sometimes there's some tall um, mustard in some of the fields. So this was in April, late April. And in Lompoc this year, we will be there in June. So it'll be somewhat similar. So this is a group that we photographed together. And then there are some other pastures. First I wanted to, yeah, so here's some other of the horses hanging out at a different location there. So this gives you just a little sense of um, what some of the terrain is like in Lompoc. And we photographed Spirit. We tried this little half door. I don't think we're going to do that again. It was pretty challenging. And we got some cute photos, but um, we will probably not do that again. But what we will do is use this event barn. So last year we used the front of the barn. So this is east facing. But what we're going to do next year is let me use this one of these photos and try to explain if you can see my cursor. Hi, Netta. Sorry, that's not a very good um, expression there. Let me see if I can find a different. Anyway, so this is the event barn, but over here on what would be your right would be the north facing. What we're going to do is open up doors over here, close these doors that we had open for this shoot, and we're going to have the horses over here facing the north, and we're going to get a different lighting, and then shoot some portraits from inside, so we get kind of some profile portraits. Those are going to be really lovely. So that's what I'm looking forward to for next year, and I hope that you'll join us. We have two options in 2026. One is San Luis Obispo only for 2.5 days, starting on Wednesday evening and going through Friday evening. So we will have 3 sunset shoots and 2 morning shoots, and that's April 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And then we have the full week where we visit both locations, and that will be May 31st, starting in San Luis Obispo Sunday afternoon. So we get 3 sunset shoots and 3 morning shoots in San Luis Obispo. And then we will drive to Lompoc and check into our accommodations there, meet for dinner, and then we will have 2 full days in Lompoc, mornings and evenings, and then those barn portraits in the middle of the day. And we will, if anybody wants to, we will edit together. We will have the ability to do that at both locations. Typically, what has happened in San Luis Obispo is people are so excited to be out with the horses, they kind of forego the editing during the middle of the day, and they just want to be out with the horses. But if anybody does, and also depending on the weather, if the weather's not great and we don't want to be out with the horses, then we will be editing inside together. And in Lompoc, we use that event barn that I showed you. And we will be in there with our laptops and editing together, or or taking those barn portraits. So we always, we have plans and then we always go with the flow. So always come with the expectation that going with the flow is always best. Whatever happens was meant to happen. And we always have a great time. So I look forward to seeing your registration and seeing you at one of these retreats. Thank you so much.